fall asleep.
Oh.
I remember seeing World According to Garp. When I was like 5. Here, let me turn this off. Use the water. It's too hot outside. Here, drink that. Want some gum? Boop, boop, boop. Thought I'd talk to myself on the internet. Some people talk to a lot of their friends. They have so many friends that they've never met. They'll never met these people, but they all know each other. They're like, oh, here, you're in trouble. Here, let me throw money at you. Good, thank goodness, because if they didn't have that, I don't know what they would, I don't know where they would be, quite frankly. There's so many people that, like, just have a plastic card and they can swipe. They get everything they need. There's way more people that are like, oh, in my mind, I have a way I want to live, but I cannot live that way. Oh, how do I live the way that's in the picture of my mind? But I think about, I grew up watching Little House on the Prairie, and I always imagine, like, what it would be like to live during that era, right? To be... And I have ancestors, I have women in my bloodline that have come across in covered wagons by themselves. Yeah, I have very strong women in my bloodline. Their history isn't as known as the men because well, that's just how it is. And so I come from hardy stock. I come from very hardy stock. Both sides. They just, a lot of women just, you know, kind of succumbed. They just kind of buckled. They went with the way the program. I never went with the way of the program. I looked at it as like data input. TV is data input. And everything was, I could go live this way. Like, because they always said you could live however you want to. And so I was just always looking at, like, movies and TV and stuff like that is, oh, you know, how do I want to live my life? And so I just waited for the world to tell me until I figured out that we're all autonomous beings, and what that means to me, words mean different things to different people. What that autonomy means to me, hello, welcome to my tiny little tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka empath. Is that we have control over our own bodies, over our own being. Our own, like, I used to I spent 14 years in recovery. Whoa. And they talked a lot about free will. You know, and I would use my free will to drink too much alcohol. I drank way too much, and then my ego would push my spirit, my connection to source over, and be like, okay, it's on. Because I have a propensity to make bad choices. I'm an Aries. We're kind of made to make bad choices, and when lots of us put intoxicants in us, then woo, look out. Plus, I'm Scorpio moon and Cancer rising. Vedic, I'm Gemini rising, still Scorpio moon, and Pisces. Changes things a little bit. Kind of, it all adds up to the same thing. It's just, anyway. So, world's getting kind of interesting. A lot of people are waking up. Things I've been talking about for I mean, I have aged on the internet for as long as I've been talking about the things that are happening now. People are finally starting to see that Washington, D.C. and Hollywood, they're both the same thing. They're both paid actors. You ever hear of the Trauma Fairy or something like that? She's on TikTok. I think she's on YouTube for sure. I listened to her a few years ago. I got the gist of it. And she's been helping a lot of people. Evidently, the state of California went after her and tried to, like, bring her up on orders, you know, bring her up on charges. They just make up stuff. stuff, and then like, especially when people are doing good. When I was on Crete, when we bombed Iraq for no reason back in '03, there was this dumb broad that was probably 4 or 5 years younger than me. 3. I was 29. So she could have been anywhere. She's probably 3. She was young, little young, cute thing, right? And she showed up in the middle of the night. She was a linguist out of a reserve unit out of Arizona someplace. And I had already been there doing my mission for 6-7 days, and then she shows up in the middle of the night being disruptive, and then she was going out screwing some little butter bar, some little first lieutenant that had showed up at the hotel too, and they just kind of screwed around for like 5 or 6 days, and all of a sudden I came to the hotel room from work on like day 5, and she was asleep. The next day, I got up, I turned on the TV like I'd done every day since I'd been there. I turned on the TV, I hit the volume to turn the volume button down, and I was just using the TV for light. That was my lamp. And I put on my uniform, and I'd go to the bathroom and brush my teeth and put my hair up and frickin' go off to fight for freedom and democracy, right? Because that's when we bombed Iraq, when we bombed Baghdad. On my Saturn return, we bombed Baghdad. On literally my 29th birthday. It's freaking crazy, the story of my life. And I just try to share my story with other people, and they're like, I don't know, I get shut down a lot. Whatever, don't care. I went to war. They fucking didn't. I was the only female. It's the only female on the flight line where they were. It cracks me up, you know. I'm surrounded, on a bunch of posers is what I am. They ain't never done nothing, so they don't know what it looks like when somebody actually has. They have no clue. And so, this girl was asleep, and because she had her first mission. See, that's what they do. We drop the bombs, and then they put a bunch of Nepo brats that know lots of languages, and then they fly over their airspace, and then they eavesdrop to get intel. And it's also girl passing notes in high school, where this dumb broad didn't have a note anywhere. Didn't have any indication. She just was on crew rest before her mission. And so when I got up, I went to work. I was at work 2 hours, and some little crap stain, dude, I can't with the people of this earth anymore. I don't know what he was. He was headquarters. He came from headquarters. He came throwing the window open. It slammed closed in his face. Airman Hessick! And I'm like, what? What? What do you want? I'm working. He's like, were you blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't even know. I got up. I put my clothes on. I went to work. And you're yelling at me through a window. What is your problem? I said, you have a problem with me? Go. Why doesn't that girl go shack up with her boyfriend? The ones that they're breaking the rules by shacking up together? Because enlisted and officers, they're never supposed to hook up? Get off me. Go after people that are doing stupid stuff. Because I'm not the person, man. It's not me. And so it didn't go nowhere. But, that's what the A system is. It's oh, you're going to get in trouble if you don't act like we act. You're just going to get in trouble. We're going to hold you up. I got a littering ticket. I don't litter. I'm the least littery person on the planet. And I dropped a cigar because I was smoking it out the window, and I hit the brakes because an asshole in front of me brake checked me. And I dropped the cigar. And then some little asshole, they're not in a cop car. They're in a Honda Civic. They were driving under the speed limit. I was going back to work. They called their friends in a police car to come and have me sit road while they had, caught up behind me, and I was late to work. That's what police do. And now you got all these flock cameras, and you're figuring out what they've always done. They're always using official police resources to stalk their girlfriends because they're ingrown men bodies, and some have muscles, some are fit, most aren't. But they have the mentality of a 15-year-old boy. You know the ones. You just think that they're just good boys. They never do nothing wrong. How many people thought about any of those dudes that are responsible for that kid Nolan not being on the planet no more? That you gotta be careful about who you hang out with on this earthly plane, because hey, there's people, if they don't like you, they don't want you around no more, you're not gonna be around no more if they get their hands on you. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful about who your friends are. Gotta be careful about who your friends are. I've had the weirdest stuff happen, but they slip up, and then they show me that they slipped up, and that they're nobody I want to know. They're nobody I want to know. All right, thanks, bye. So, evidently it's getting pretty hot, the USA. Is it getting hot in places in the United States? I don't know. I only live in northern New Mexico, where Mom was born and not raised. That stuff cracks me up. But it's never happens where I'm living. It doesn't impact where I live much. But let's see how's it going in Reading. That's where I tried to move back to, and then we ended up here. Oh yeah, look at that. 112, 105, 104. It's just all 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 107, 100. I don't want to live any places like that. Let's, another place that's hotter than hell. Where is it? This place. Phoenix. Look at this. That's even worse. And you know what people don't even have, like, the idea is that they're trying to escape all. That's 105, 110, 113, 111, 109, 100. No. Right? Where all these people, they're all running their air conditioners to keep cool, but they're making it hotter by running their air conditioners. See? That's why I always use these. I used ever since when I worked at the shop in Age back at Offutt Air Force Base. They had these evaporated coolers that were like 5 foot, 6 foot wide. And you just fill it up with stick the hose in there, and it kept the whole shop cool. Like, I got 2 of them in here, and then we got the swamp cooler, and then I got fans that blow around the cool air. Wow. But I go through water. If it's not, there is no perfect solution. You just have to get yourself someplace in the world to get yourself to be living in a place that's comfortable for you. I didn't even know where that place was until we got to Taos. I didn't even know that this place, I don't choose where, I've chosen less where I live than the places have chosen us. Here, Mom. That's a true story. Alright, I got my candy.
Yeah.
I got my coffee.
You got your coffee, which is nice.
My new graph is coming.
Yes.
People are figuring out that central casting isn't what it.
What it used to be.
Yep. That McConnell guy,
Yeah.
he's a center. This guy's been in. How long has he been in his position? The what's his name? He's 84 years old.
84.
His birthday's March 20th. I know
Is it nice?
people born on March 20th.
That's very popular.
Since 1985, I was 11 years old.
Whoa.
They all have their character isn't even questionable. It's that they have no character. There's no content of their own character. They're just a derivative of their surrounding. They're all nature. They don't got no nurture because they're all nature. That's what programmed is. Now they're all like that's what the government's always been. They live in a way that their reality is conducted in a certain manner. While living under the guise of military intelligence, national security, all this secrecy, because they don't want the regular public to know. Because the regular public will figure out that the military and the government it's made up a bunch of freaking Nepo kids that don't have practical skills. It's the enlisted that have practical skills, the mechanics. But they're too busy. We're too busy turning wrenches. We're not thinking, hey, wait a minute. We're dropping bombs in Iraq, from Crete on Iraq, because that's what the news says. Congress didn't approve that either. And then people in the military don't really think, hey, wait. Did Congress approve us going and doing this? Because they're just, turning wrenches and trying to survive and being military grunts and stuff like that. So the picture isn't put together, but I'm an academic. I'm a jack all tirade, so I turned wrenches so I could read books and write papers. I just avoided, because I hate typing, I avoided I had to do a capstone. That's the longest thing I did was a capstone. I might still have it somewhere. The college paper that I got for my bachelor in science degree that I could use for toilet paper. It don't do nothing for me, I'm excited to see the world shift and change, so there's going to be a place for everybody. More so than there is now. Now it's people are pigeonholed, and so more people want to participate in their own community. They're just not welcome to because somebody doesn't like their kind or something. And now it's getting to the point that there's not enough people in the club that have viable skills to sustain things. So now it's like people got to do what I had to figure out how to do when I was a little kid back in the 70s, and figure out how to work with people copacetically, and it doesn't matter if you like them. You just have to treat them with just do the job and don't be mean and just do the job. You don't even have to be nice. Just do the job. Make sure nobody gets hurt and the job gets done. The world don't live that way. We turned into a big old popularity contest where like all these people have their positions, their jobs because, somebody that they know. And they're not qualified to do these jobs. So people that are qualified to do these jobs, like they can't get work because all the positions are filled by people that are unqualified, and that's how nepotism works. And And if you think about it, the United States is pretty much collapsing based on nepotism because a bunch of people, like-minded, nobody should be thinking like them. I want to see the shift of, I don't want to see police anymore. I want to see like community support staff where people are like they're not just police have to do a lot of, like, they got to come up with things. They come up with situations that everyday people don't come up with. I can relate to that.
Oh,
The thing of it is like, okay, we need them to be more, instead of sitting in parking lots collecting paychecks like they do in Taos County. Whenever you need one, there's one in the parking lot right there probably.
right there.
God, there's, if there's people broken down, they're out of gas, like their car broke, this, that, the other thing. They, and my train of thought derailed. As a matter of fact, let's get rid of that song. I don't really like it anymore. I don't really want to be. We'll get rid of this one too. Oh, so they should have more, take on more of a role of, like roadside assistance, like getting people water. Nobody should ever be without water, man. That's one thing me and Mom do. We drive around town whenever we see pedestrians. We pull over and ask them if they need water.
Oh.
Most people are like walking around. They don't want it. That's fine. But the people that are just freaking passing through, or they're stuck, or whatever, they're whoever they are. There's always 4 out of 10 people that are just like, oh my God, thank you. Because they don't freaking make it easy for people. Like, think about how cool the planet would be. We wouldn't be having all these fake wars if we had, people like to travel.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in cars and like going to rest stops and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then as I got older, there's less and less rest stops, and I just always thought that was terribly inhospitable. I have the spirit of hospitality in me. And now it's like we need to make, they're making it harder for people, so they're making it in rest stops in some states where you can only you can only stay there 2 hours, and I'm like, they're legitimately there to rest. Let people rest and they'll go on. They're not trying to sleep they're not trying to live in your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like people that have never been without, they've always been very secure in their lives. They're getting scared and they're getting nervous, so they're ratcheting down the rules, and they're locking down the rules, and they're putting themselves in a thicker bubble. That's not how karma works. If you don't help people, and you come into a situation that you need help, and you don't help people, do you think you're going to get the help that you need based on your history of not helping? Or is it energetic universal law that what you put out you get back, so you're going to get neglect because that's what you put out? That's how I look at things. So I always look for an opportunity to pick up garbage. Like, even if I'm going to the grocery store, there's always some way to make the world better than it was before I left and then I came home. And if more people just did a little bit, but no, you got people sitting on their in their in-home studios talking about the Great Awakening. And it's like, what are you going to do, like, if the power grid does go out and all these people, they think that it's going to be business as usual without electricity, but they don't know what that entails. Like, my biggest thing is I like when society stays active because things stink less. See, when society collapses, things start stinking. Because you can't flush your toilet if the electricity doesn't run the pumps. You know? And you can't take showers if you can't run your water. And people have all these ideas of like, you know, oh, well, they make it look so easy because that's what they do. They want you to make it look easy. And then once you try it, you're like, oh my God, it's too late. It's too late. It's already too late. Moving on. So, oh, so many life lessons to be learned. We've just been kicking back. We haven't done hardly nothing the last 2-3 days. Mom and I, we went out, we like go out, check the post office, go to the grocery store. That's about it. That's about the extent of it, you know? I mean, and I think about how far people travel, how much energy, how much gas. Gas is what, $5 a gallon? I pay $5.07. I pay for premium though. I put the good stuff in it. And then I go to the back pump. I used to go to the front. It's too busy up there. But when I went in the front and when you're walking around and you're seeing like $4 on the pump, you know people are hurting because they're barely putting money in their tank to get from point A to point B. That means that money isn't getting spent on food. In the state I live, it has so much money. Everywhere I'm trying to tell people, like, we shouldn't be paying for property tax in the state of New Mexico. Nobody should. I mean, the rich already don't. They already get out of everything. I think it's funny. People like false idol worship. People are into false idols. I'm not. I know who people are. And there's a lady that lived here for like 20-something years. She lived in Taos County. Her name's Julia Roberts. And she lived in the same house as Donald Rumsfeld lived in. That's where the dude back when we bombed Iraq for no reason, he was the Department of War back then. Wow. And I'm just like, it's like attracts like. That's why an actress ended up living in an actor's house because, like, look, go back in history. You want to know about controlling the narrative, the contrived reality? Look at all the like famous people, Jim Morrison, John Denver, all these rebels and stuff, all these society, you know, going against it. Dude, they didn't go against it. They just did what their daddies told them to do. All their dads are all military. All of them. They're all military or somehow related to the government in some capacity. It's a trip. I always thought it was weird that my grandma was a real estate agent, but she was in the Democratic Party, and she was friends with like, what do you call it? What's that dude's name? Leon Panetta. I remember calling her and they were getting ready because he was coming over. They were having a dinner with him. And I was just like, man, Mom, we know the important people, but they never treated us like we knew them, right? We went without so many meals, you know, because they always said there's not enough for you. Don't be selfish. There's people over there that need that are going without. So then, okay, don't complain if your stomach is growling. Okay, so I really learned how to not complain about things. And then I got hit like 42. Wow. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit of a 180 here. And all the people pleasing and all the keeping quiet to go along and get along and stuff like that I did for all those years, I'm going to stop doing that. And I'm going to take this mask off because I didn't even know that that's what it was called back then, that when you're masking. Because they said I was nacho neurotypical back in 1986. They said I had Asperger's, is what they called it. And I grew up watching so much TV that, like, I'd get in a situation And then I would just go into my memory bank and act how I saw somebody else in the situation before. So, and I learned that I qualify for things, and that there's things, benefits that I should have in the life, but because the system's so broken, and because things like Active Directory exist, you know what Active Directory is? You go work at a company, and they set up your account, so you can log into your computer, and it gives you access to all the things all the places that you can can have access to. And so, like, there's and I've started seeing that in life. Like, if this, then that. Life is less random and it's more assigned than they always said it was. And I started seeing it because I'm the pattern seer. I see patterns like, wow. I appreciate astrology for helping me always, because I can hear people's interpretation of astrology, and it kind of surmises to the same thing. Even though an astrology report from an astrologer is based on their astrology. So the things that are prominent to them or important to them might not be significant to me, because we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum, yeah. It's getting really interesting, I'm seeing more and more. Oh gosh, how many? They're saying 850 structures have been lost in Colorado now.
Wow.
And I would say 10 years, like every time something like that happens, every time something like happens in Asheville, every time people get displaced, it makes small towns bigger. Because it puts a trickle effect and everybody goes, someplace. And then you have the ones that stay there, of course. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that because I haven't. That's not an experience that I've lived. I look at life as an experience. Like when I used to go to sushi restaurants with people I thought were my friends. I was wrong. They have all the list of all the sushi rolls, and I look at life like that. Like, have you ever been to San Francisco or Alcatraz? Have you ever have you all these experiences? Have you ever been pregnant? No, I have never been pregnant. I don't think I could have babies. I'm one of those weird invert peoples. And then they have but I have all these other life experiences, all these places. I have been to war, and my hip pops from what happened to me when I was a 10-month-old baby. So those are two significant things that not everybody has had that experience of, although a lot of people have. Interesting. People are starting to figure it out. They can't see because you can't, I don't know. Lie has a frequency, and then once you get to it, once you become, if you want to live a truthful life, you gotta it's like a splinter. It festers up and it comes popping out, And there's too many people that's what there hasn't been redemption. I've seen a population of a world that used to go to P. Diddy parties, and they used to do all these terrible things, but they've been sober 20 years and they don't act that way. But they never got in trouble for all the lives that they ruined back then. They just stopped ruining lives, Or they shifted and went over here and ruined these people's lives over here, And so I'm seeing a wave of redemption coming in, where people are starting to realize, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. But science says energy never dies. So I'm probably going to take my last breath and then probably come out someplace else at some time. All these I don't know, trend trackers, I guess. What is Stephen Burns? He's a space weather guy. Has he and Ben Davidson ever have a conversation together? Or are they not even on the same planet? I don't know. But all these people talk about that, like how the world is like a billion years old, stuff like that. What we don't think about oftentimes is energy never dies, and when we take our last breath, that goes into where? All space, time, and dimension. And then what happens? When we reincarnate, what happens? Like, what if towns that are happening now in some place in the United States is just a different town during a different year? And like all the Salems are like that. Like Salem, Oregon is like this timeline, but Salem, Massachusetts. I mean, it's what reality is. Perception. Perception is reality. So it's whatever we deem it to be. And what do people do? They do the politic reindeer game, and I never play. I don't like that game. It's not a fun game. I wasn't a very good. I talked a lot of trash about the military when I was in the military because people would do stupid shit all the time, and I'd be like, where are the protectors? We're the ones that are supposed to be protecting the people, but we're not protecting America from being any better. America's no better off because we bomb drive, but because they're doing this weird story like, oh, they have nukes. How come nobody's like, we're the biggest bully, why do we have nukes? How come nobody's bombing us? We're the biggest asshole on the planet. It's okay, we got nukes, but other people, if they have nukes to defend themselves from us, that's a no-go? Like, it don't even track. And so, it's this whole, okay, that it's the peace of, they've been doing this since all time. It's just the same story. They just move the needle on the record, put it back, start the record over, play it again with all the patriotic shit. People are like, ooh, freedom and democracy, and it's just like, that shit don't even exist. Okay, people are so into freedom that they have shit all over discipline. The whole world is like, what would the world do if it could do whatever it wanted? Well, look around, because look at all the people that go around do whatever they want. I like the people that are, giving out haircuts to the freaking homeless and stuff like that. I like the feeders. I like the caregivers. I like those folks, I like the people that are trying to show people that, hey, do you want to live a different way? Do you know that you can live a different way? A lot of people don't know that they can live a different way. I used to be a scumbag, and if I'm not careful, I could still be a scumbag today at any given time, really, quite honestly, huh, Mom? Yep, so... That's something I learned a long time ago, that I want any kind of security in my heart, if I want any peace in my spirit, that it behooves me that I help create peaceful environments for other people. Because I can't keep what I don't get to keep unless I give it away. That's what I found. Anyway.